What if the symbols of a successful life, the big family home, the impressive car, are actually financial traps? We're told these assets are proof you've made it, but after 50, they can turn into financial black holes that secretly siphon your wealth. This isn't about a market crash, it's about the hidden costs and silent traps lurking in the things you already own. In this video, we're pulling back the curtain on 10 of these wealth-draining culprits. We'll show you what you can do about it, starting now. This isn't about scaring you, it's about empowering you to ensure the wealth you've built serves your life, not the other way around. Let's get into it. Wealth killer number 1, the $50,000 driveway mistake. Let's talk about one of the fastest ways people destroy wealth and don't even realize it's happening. It's got leather seats, a brand new smell, and a shiny bow on top. A new car. Sounds like success, right? But the moment you drive it off the lot, you've already lost 15% of its value before you even hit your first red light. By the time you pull that $40,000 SUV into your driveway, you've effectively burned $6,000. And 5 years later, it's worth less than half. That doesn't even count the higher insurance premiums, the pricey maintenance, and the eye-watering repair bills that come with premium brands. That's not transportation. That's a financial leak with 4 wheels. Buffett once said, "If you buy things you don't need, soon you'll have to sell things you do need." For someone on a fixed income, this is a quiet crisis. A single major repair can blow up your entire budget. Those high monthly costs are diverting money that could be invested and growing, or spent on things you actually enjoy. It's a classic case of lifestyle inflation, where your spending habits from your peak earning years are now eating your savings for lunch. The fix is to change how you think about your car. See it as a tool, not a trophy. A reliable, certified pre-owned car that's 2 or 3 years old gives you all the comfort and safety you need, while letting someone else take the massive depreciation hit. If you're a 2-car household, ask yourselves if you can get by with one. That's a huge saving right there. This isn't about depriving yourself, it's about making a strategic choice to redirect thousands of dollars a year from a rapidly shrinking asset toward your long-term security. Wealth killer number 2, the vacation trap that won't let you leave. It sounds like a dream, doesn't it? A beachfront condo, your own little slice of paradise. A place to escape every year and call your own. That's the pitch of a timeshare, and it's one of the most seductive money traps ever created. But here's what they won't tell you during those free lunch presentations. A timeshare is not an investment. It's a contract, and in most cases, one you'll regret signing. Let me show you why. It starts with an upfront payment of maybe $20,000, sometimes more, but that's just the bait. The hook is buried in the fine print. Every year, you're on the hook for maintenance fees, and it doesn't matter if you use the place or not. You pay either way. Warren Buffett once warned, "Chains of habit are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken." And nothing feels heavier than a vacation you no longer want but can't get rid of. Let's take a look at Robert from Miami, who bought into a Florida timeshare for $30,000 5 years ago. The view? Incredible. The presentation? Convincing. The promise? A luxurious getaway every year. But life changed. Work got busy. Kids got older. He stopped going. When he tried to sell it and listed it for $15,000, not a single offer came in. Not one. He even found a Facebook group filled with thousands of desperate owners trying to give their timeshares away, some even offering to pay people to take over the contract. Robert finally contacted a timeshare exit company. The price to escape? $4,500. The solution is tough, but you have to try to get out. Start by calling the resort developer. See if they have a deed-back program. Be very, very careful of third-party resale companies that want a big fee up front. Many are scams. Your goal shouldn't be to get your money back. It should be to eliminate the future liability of those fees. Cutting that recurring expense is a huge win for your financial health. Wealth killer number 3, chasing status with your wallet. A $5,000 Louis Vuitton bag, a $15,000 Rolex, limited edition sneakers that never even touch the ground. They look like symbols of success, but more often than not, they're just signs of someone trying to look rich instead of being rich. This is the wealth illusion trap, because the people most obsessed with showing off wealth usually don't have it. Meanwhile, the real millionaires are often invisible. Mark Zuckerberg wears the same gray t-shirt every day. Warren Buffett, worth over $100 billion, still lives in the same modest Nebraska house he bought in 1958 for $31,500. No designer gates, no gold-plated bathrooms, and that's exactly what happens when image outruns income. Take the story of Ronald Read. He was a janitor, wore flannel shirts, drove a used car, lived simply. When he passed away in 2014, he shocked the world, leaving behind an $8 million fortune. Not because he earned a high salary, but because he invested quietly, avoided status traps, and let compound interest do its magic. Now let's talk about the real cost of chasing designer labels. That $500 pair of shoes, if left untouched in a portfolio earning 8% a year, like in a total market exchange trade fund, would grow to over $20,000 in 30 years. Buy it on a credit card with 18% interest? Now you're paying double for something that depreciates the moment you wear it. This doesn't mean you can't enjoy nice things. It just means timing and proportion matter. The wealthy follow a simple rule: assets first, luxuries later. If the item costs more than 1% of your net worth, it's probably not time yet. And if you love fashion, use smarter alternatives. Look into resale platforms or try subscription models, because the goal isn't to look rich. The goal is to build freedom, and freedom never goes out of style. Wealth killer number 4, rental properties with negative cash flow. Our fourth point is about an investment often seen as a golden ticket: rental real estate. And it can be, but it can also turn into a nightmare if it's not making you money. The problem starts when the total cost of the property is more than the rent you collect. Too many landlords just look at the mortgage payment and forget about everything else. You have to account for vacancies between tenants, big-ticket repairs like a new roof, property management fees, and the cost of evicting a bad tenant. Once you add it all up, a property that looked profitable can actually be costing you money every month. Instead of a passive income stream, you've got a stressful, expensive part-time job subsidizing someone else's housing with your savings. An unexpected vacancy or a busted HVAC can force you to pull thousands from your nest egg, throwing your whole plan off track. The fix is to do a ruthless audit of your properties. Calculate your real cash flow after every single expense, including setting money aside for future repairs. If a property is consistently in the red or barely breaking even, you have to seriously consider selling it. The money you unlock can be put into a truly passive, income-producing asset like a dividend ETF or a real estate investment trust, which gives you real estate exposure without the landlord headaches. This moves you from a stressed-out property manager to a passive investor, which is exactly where you want to be as you look to simplify your finances. Wealth killer number 5, credit card debt. That sleek little card in your wallet may look harmless, but it could be the most dangerous financial weapon you own. The average credit card now charges over 20% interest per year. That means if you carry a balance, your money isn't growing. It's bleeding, slowly, constantly, painfully. Warren Buffett once warned, if you're smart, you're going to make a lot of money without borrowing. If you're not smart, you're going to lose money borrowing at 18%. Here's what that looks like in real life. Dave from Boston didn't think much of it. Just a few pieces of furniture, a new TV, nothing crazy, $7,000 on his card. But he made the mistake millions of people make. He only paid the minimum. Fast forward a few years, Dave had paid over $16,000 and still had a balance. He bought that TV twice, and the couch might as well have been lined with gold. Credit card companies are counting on this, that $25 or $50 minimum. It's not a convenience. It's a trap, carefully designed to keep you stuck while they collect compound interest. Let's put it in perspective. If you carry just $5,000 and pay the minimum, it can take over 15 years to pay it off, and you'll pay more than double what you originally borrowed. Now here's the difference between the average consumer and the truly wealthy. People like Mark Cuban, billionaire entrepreneur and owner of the Dallas Mavericks, said this in an interview: if you use a credit card, you don't want to be rich. In his 20s, Cuban avoided credit cards like the plague. He saved, invested, and negotiated cash-only deals because he understood paying 20% interest is the fastest way to fall behind. Here's the truth. Credit cards aren't evil, but carrying a balance is. Smart money players use credit cards for points, cashback, and purchase protection, and pay the balance in full every single month. That way, The banks don't earn a dime in interest, but you walk away with free travel or cash back. If you're getting some value out of this, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps the channel create more content like this to help you secure your financial future. And you'll want to stick around because the next 5 assets are financial products that are often sold as safe, but can be packed with hidden fees that slowly eat away at your savings. Wealth killer number 6, business ownership without an exit plan. The 6th wealth-draining asset is one you may have poured your soul into building, your own business. To an entrepreneur, their business isn't just an asset, it's their identity. But without a clear plan for the next chapter, it can become a huge liability when it's time to step back. The problem is the lack of a real documented exit strategy. So many owners just assume they'll sell the business when they're ready, but they haven't done any of the prep work. They don't have a successor, they don't know what the business is actually worth, and there's no legal plan for a sale. This is a time bomb, especially if the whole business depends on the owner's skills and relationships. If the owner's health fails or they need to exit suddenly, the value of the business can evaporate overnight. This creates a super high-stress situation. The one asset that was supposed to fund your entire future is now at risk of being sold for pennies on the dollar, or worst case, you just have to lock the doors and walk away with nothing for a lifetime of work. The solution is to start your succession planning 5 to 10 years before you want to exit. First, get a professional valuation so you know what the business is realistically worth. Second, talk to legal and financial advisors to explore your options. Selling to a competitor, passing it to family, or selling to your employees. Third, and most importantly, start making the business less dependent on you. A business that can run without you is a business that someone will want to buy. A good exit plan is the final, critical step to making sure your business becomes the foundation of a great next chapter. Wealth killer number 7, status, luxuries, boats, RVs, and other toys. There's a saying that floats around marinas. The 2 happiest days in a boat owner's life are the day they buy it and the day they sell it. Funny, but also brutally honest. Because boats, luxury cars, designer watches, and vacation homes aren't just symbols of success, they're often traps disguised as trophies. Mike from Tampa bought his dream boat for $65,000. He thought it would buy him freedom. But here's what it really bought: $6,000 a year in maintenance, fuel, storage, and insurance. 8 total days of use per year. That's $2,000 per day of sunshine. And that's not an exception, it's the norm. Most luxury items sit idle over 90% of the time, quietly draining your money month after month. The rich know this. That's why many don't own luxury, they rent it. Why spend $50,000 on a boat when you can rent one for $500 a day, only when you actually want to sail without the ownership headache, the maintenance bills, or the guilt of underuse? Here's the mindset shift. Wealthy people don't collect toys, they collect options, time, and financial peace. Wealth killer number 8, whole life insurance. It's insurance and an investment, all in one. That's the sales pitch. But here's the truth. Whole life insurance isn't a 2-for-1 deal, it's a 2-for-none. You're combining expensive life insurance with a mediocre investment, and what you end up with is a product that's bad at both. Let's break it down. A 45-year-old man seeking $500,000 in coverage has 2 options: pay $400 a year for a 20-year term policy, or pay $4,000 per year for a whole life policy. Same coverage, but one costs 10x more. Where does that extra $3,600 per year go? Not into your future. In the first few years, it mostly disappears into fees, commissions, and profits for the insurance company. After 10 years, you might have paid $40,000, but only see $30,000 in your account. Meanwhile, your agent walks away with a hefty commission, often up to 90% of your first-year premium. Warren Buffett once said, "You only find out who is swimming naked when the tide goes out." Whole life insurance looks fine when everything's calm until you try to access your money and realize how little is actually there. If you already have a whole life policy and regret it, don't panic. There are options. You can surrender part of the policy, take out a policy loan, or even do a tax-free 1035 exchange into something more efficient. Just make sure you're getting advice from a fee-only financial planner, that is, someone who doesn't profit from selling you another policy. Wealth killer number 9. Expensive gadgets and constant upgrades. That shiny new phone you're holding might be smarter than your last one, but it could also be making you poorer. Every year, we're sold the illusion of newer equals better. Slightly sharper cameras, slightly faster processors, and slightly longer battery life. But here's the financial trap. The user experience barely changes, yet the price tag keeps rising, and the cycle is designed to never end. Apple, Samsung, and Google have perfected the psychology of perceived obsolescence. They don't need your current device to fail. They just need you to feel like it's not enough anymore, and most people fall for it every single year. Warren Buffett used a $20 flip phone for years. He once joked, "I don't throw away a laptop or phone just because there's a newer version. I wait until it's no longer useful." He eventually upgraded to an iPhone 11, long after most people had already moved on to newer models. And he's not alone. Mark Zuckerberg used to run a $1 trillion empire. It was reportedly custom-built, not flashy, just functional. Because the wealthy understand this rule. Technology should be a tool, not a trap. Wealth killer number 10. Expensive weddings. It's supposed to be the happiest day of your life, but for many, it's also the most financially devastating. Weddings have become less about love and more about optics. Social media, wedding magazines, Netflix specials, they all sell one idea. If it's not grand, it's not special. A $40,000 wedding for a couple with $4,000 in savings. That's the textbook definition of buying what you can't afford. The average American wedding now costs over $30,000, not including the honeymoon. And that number keeps rising, fueled by comparison culture. But research tells a different story. A study from Emory University found that couples who spend less on their weddings tend to have longer-lasting marriages. In other words, less sparkle, more substance. Even Serena Williams, one of the most successful athletes in history, didn't opt for excess. Her wedding to tech mogul Alexis Ohanian was elegant but focused on family and simplicity. Despite their combined net worth exceeding $300 million, they chose intimacy over indulgence. That's the mindset of the truly wealthy. They don't confuse showmanship with success. So, that's the list. 10 assets that can quietly undermine your financial security after 50. Remember, you're not just planning a day, you're building a life. While others are going into debt for Instagram-worthy moments, you have a different strategy. One built on purpose, wisdom, and long-term value, because true wealth is reflected in the life you build together after the guests go home. Thanks for watching. If this video got you thinking, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear what steps you're taking to secure your wealth. Please subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a lesson that could be the turning point in your financial journey. See you on the next one.